Hi out there in S&G land, and welcome to this week's update. Today is Friday, September 7th, and it's a beautiful sunny day up here in Sacramento after a few days of rain. Can you believe that fall is already here? You can kind of see the leaves dropping and the weather changing, and it's a welcome change. As you all know, fall really marks the start of the heavy selling season when it comes to floor covering. So we're expecting great things over the next few months. Before I get into today's topics, I want to recognize the top 3 riders from last month, from September. September in general was a soft month for S&G. The sales were not what we had expected or were anticipating. But we still had 3 ladies that put up darn good numbers. And leading the way was Natalie from the Santa Clara store. Natalie had sales over $89,000. Followed by Gabriella in the Almaden store with sales over $80,000. And then we had Angela, also from the Santa Clara store, with sales over $71,000. So way to go, ladies. Way to lead the pack, and good job on getting those sales. Now, as we look forward to what's coming up and what's going on with S&G, a couple things. First off, I don't know if you've had a chance to see the new ads or hear them, but this month's ad is a very in-your-face. We're going with that low price, that we are the low price leader. That's what we're going to be harping and advertising and kind of drumming that into the consumer's head. We know that's going to resonate with people, and it's going to help drive traffic into the stores. But as a reminder, once the customer's in the store, it's up to you, the salesperson, to turn on the charm, to start the romancing, the qualifying, and just wow them with our customer service. As we've said in the past, what are we selling? We're selling service, okay? And it's up to you to kind of out-hustle our competitors and outsell them. Realize now, since we've lowered the pricing on the floors, we are extremely competitive. Matter of fact, we're cheaper than any of the specialty retail stores, and we're down and dirty with the home box stores or the big box stores. So have confidence and qualify and get the customer into the right product, and you're going to have great sales. Now, we also have the new pads that we started this week, so hopefully you've got a chance to check out the samples. Your store managers actually have a cheat sheet of what the difference is and the characteristics of the different pads, so check that out and get comfortable with them. This week I want to focus on 3 different areas of sales, and the first one is the importance of estimates. September, as I mentioned, was a very dismal month for us, or a dull month, if you will. And basically, we saw the estimate count drop from doing as a company-wide. We were hitting in the 170 range. That's all 6 stores combined per week, 170 estimates. In September, we were down into the 120s and 130s. So, pretty significant drop-off. And I'm attributing that to, like I mentioned, a couple different things. Walk-in traffic maybe slowed down a little bit, but also the lack of the F5 function. And I know it was difficult for you, and thank you for bearing with us. I believe as of yesterday, the F5 function is back working, but I can't stress enough the importance of estimates, estimates, estimates. The more estimates we do, the higher the sales are going to be. So anytime you can, recommend that the free estimate. Who wouldn't want it? If they're actually in our store, they're a serious shopper. We have to take advantage of that and get into their home to do the measure. So estimate's extremely important, okay? Second thing I wanted to mention was qualifying. Everybody has a budget, okay? And it's up to you, the salesperson, to find out what that budget is. And that's kind of the big crux or a whole part of sales. If somebody comes in and their budget's $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $20,000, we have products that we can do inside their home. But it's a question of how much money they're willing to spend and what products you're going to show them, okay? When I go through and I look at a lot of the estimates or the jobs we're doing, again, we're selling a lot of the real expensive or high-priced products, which is what everybody wants to buy, but in actuality, or the reality is that most people can't afford to buy. I used the analogy of myself just purchasing a car a number of months ago, and I was looking for something that was fuel efficient but extremely economical. And I ended up at the Kia dealership and bought a Kia Soul for somewhere around $16,000. Well, obviously, if my budget, and that's kind of what I wanted to spend, if I would have gone to the Mercedes dealership or a Chevy or someplace else, I couldn't have been able to afford that product. Fortunately, or it makes it easier on the consumer when it comes to cars to kind of have an idea, and you can do research online to kind of know what kind of price range you're in. Consumers don't have that luxury when it comes to floor covering. It is truly a blind item and something that they only purchase every 12 years or so, which kind of works to our advantage. They're coming in as an uninformed consumer, and the more you can inform them and the more time and the better you do with them, the greater success you're going to have. So qualifying, finding out what that budget is, and you can do it in several ways. You can show them a product like this and say, hey, you have 1,000 feet. This is going to be approximately $4,000 installed to do 1,000 square feet. Is that what you had in mind? Is that kind of in the realm? Those are the kind of dollars you're thinking about? And as I mentioned before, I always like to start with an identity product where it can be installed somewhere around, under $3, $2.50 a foot, somewhere in there. So you can kind of keep that number low. And people they'll be more than happy to tell you if they want to spend more. But it's difficult when you show them something that's really expensive and then you got to back them down. That's a difficult sell. So always start with the lower price things, kind of tell them what numbers you're looking at, and then get permission to upgrade them. Okay? The third thing I wanted to talk about was emailing bids. And I've noticed that we're doing a lot more emailing of bids, and as a year ago we didn't even have the capacity or the capability to email bids. Now it seems like that's the way we're communicating a whole lot. And as you walk into the S&G stores, it's a presence, it's a destination store, it's impressive. Remember, that works to your favor. We have a full staff of employees always there. We're open great hours, and our stores are impressive. When you email bids and you start communicating via email, it's convenient for the consumer, but it's bad for S&G, and it's bad for you, the salesperson. Basically, when you start emailing, it comes into a price game, and there's no one there to represent you. Okay? Imagine the typical scenario. Customer comes in, they take home some samples, which is great. Our estimator goes out, does the bid. Hopefully, they get a chance to go over the bid in person with the consumer. Hopefully, they can print a bid with suppressing the details. And then you can have them come in again and go over the bid in person as they sign off the checkoff sheets and stuff like that and get a chance to sell them. That's kind of the ideal situation. Now, if we skip the estimator and he doesn't get a chance to romance or bond or sell the consumer in the home, and then you email the bid directly to him and you give them all the details, basically they have our sample, they have our itemized bid, and what they're going to do is go out and shop. They're going to take those two items, go to another store, put them on the counter and say, boy, this is where S&G's at. They have all our information, it's all broken down, and it's almost like committing suicide. I mean, you're asking to get beat. So I would recommend that whenever possible, and this should be done on almost every single job, that the estimator is given enough time and can go over the actual bid with the consumer in the home. Okay? And that should be done, like I say, the majority of the time. And then if that doesn't work or the customer's on a short time frame, have them come back into the store where you, the salesperson, can present the bid and go over it with them. Okay? Now, when they're in the store, we're doing it in person, I don't mind showing them the itemized bid. But when we're actually giving them paperwork or an actual bid, I would suppress the details. And that's not playing dirty or anything like that. That's just giving us a better chance to be successful. Because at the end of the day, it's all about that total package price to do the job. But when you itemize things, boy, it gives our competitors a chance to pick and choose, and they can just go off our numbers with our laser printer and all that stuff, or our laser measuring. So a few things to keep in mind. 1, set up more estimates. 2, qualify. And 3, try not to email bids. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next week. Have a great week of sales, and take care, everybody. Bye-bye.